And then if everybody else could mute, like Jim said, until it's time for you to speak.
Okay, I will start then.
Mute, like Jim
Today
said,
is Thursday,
until it's
May
time for you to speak.
21st. This is the Westborough Design Review Board meeting virtually today. And we have two hearings today. The first one up is signage for 600 Union Street, Janet Salon. So if someone can take the stage and tell us what you got for us.
Hi, my name is Dave Winchester, and I'm with Ready to Run Graphics and Signs. We're a sign company located in Worcester. And for Janet's Salon, where she's moving into the old Cost Cutters space. And really all we're doing is just replacing the faces of the old signs with new signs. So this page here shows you all of the different signs. I think one of the important ones that we discuss is the sign that goes above her opening, which is LI 2, sorry. It's LI 2A. It's the exact same size as the existing Cost Cutter sign. And we plan to remove the Cost Cutter face and replace it with a painted white aluminum face with a raised logo that will be 1/4-inch acrylic painted black with her vinyl logo applied to the face of that. Does anybody have any questions about that main sign?
Cindy or Dan, Cindy, you want to go first? You have questions or comments?
No, I see it. I think it looks very nice.
Okay. Dan, how about you? Dan, you may have to unmute yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I looked at it. I looked at the signage in the email. I thought it looked very nice, and it's it's basically the same exact size, just replacing the old sign. And as far as the the font and the color and everything, I'm fine with it.
I think it's a wonderful sign too. I have just a couple comments. Is the size of the rectangle? I know you said, Dave, you're going to cover the existing Cost Cutter sign. Is it that size rectangle to hide all the mounting screws that are there, or?
Right, because the existing face is already there. What we plan to do is we're actually not going to cover the face because it's raised. We're going to remove the old face, use the existing mounting hardware, and mount a new face on top of it. So it'll do a couple of things. It'll obviously hide the existing mounting hardware, but also anytime a sign's up like this, you start to see some just variation in color of the brick. So it'll also hide that as well.
Okay. And this three-dimensional cut, so it's essentially a silhouette cut around the entire logo. Is that accurate?
That's correct, yes.
And you said it's 1/4 inch?
Yes.
And what about that black frame? What's that?
That black frame will be 1/8 inch aluminum painted black.
Okay. And so that's literally a frame. It wraps around that, right?
Yes.
Okay. And is there any lighting on this sign?
No. There should not be any lighting, I believe, interior lighting for this area.
How about top or front lighting? Anything there?
No, the smaller tenants in this facility don't have any lighting on their signage. I know like a couple of the bigger shops do, but I don't believe it's allowed for this location.
It is allowed, but
it is allowed.
It has to be exterior, either mounted above or below, usually gooseneck above, but we do allow below lighting. If you look at some of your neighbors, the neighbor directly to the left of this salon is the GNC store, and then to the left of that is the little sign store. I forget the name of it. And then of course you have Panera Bread. So the Panera Bread and the GNC store have gooseneck mounted lights above their sign. You're welcome to do that. I believe the little store that's in the middle there, the sign store, has a transom light that runs across the top, one fixed light, but you'd have to get the lighting also approved by design review.
Okay, I will. I'll let my my client know that that is an option. I don't know if it'll be in her budget, so it might be something that we address in the future.
Okay.
And then, of
Again,
course,
it's
if
not-
she does do that, I would make sure that she knows she has to present it to the design review board too.
Okay. Kristen, if you could, can you scroll down that to the page that shows the elevation with the sign mounted on the facade? There you go. So you can see it was the cost cutters. And this is a corner space. So they actually have windows also on the parking lots elevation that faces Roche Brothers. That's the marquee side. Go back up to the facade, if you would, Kristen. Go back. There you go. Thank you. So you can see that they're proposing signs in the windows adjacent to the parking lot that faces Reliant Medical that you may want to address, because those are multiple decals. In the past, I know that you've allowed the decal in the sign on the frontage of the building. You may want to allow one on the side. You did on Ted's. Ted's has one in their side window. This has one proposed for every window. Can you scroll back up, Kristen, to show the facade and the door entry so you can see their logo and their hours on the door, which is typical for all the businesses. So stop. There you go. So Cost Cutters, if you look on the right, had their address. They had a small Cost Cutters logo with their hours of operation. That's what Janet's wants to do too. They're going to have their logo on the door and then their hours of operation and website and phone number similar to all other companies. So I think the difference is whether or not you'll allow the decal in the side windows.
Jim, from a zoning standpoint, is that allowed by zoning because it's a corner property?
So there, Fred is here. This is a good question for Fred. You're allowed 2 facade signs. And so their sign above the door, the Janet Salon main sign, would be 1 facade sign. In the past, you've allowed them to have a second facade sign. If they don't propose one, then maybe you could allow the logo. But I would defer to Fred to see if he would consider the logo in a window a facade sign.
Yeah, the short answer is yes, those would be signs. So you really shouldn't, or I shouldn't allow logo signs in every single window. If there was an additional one on the side, I wouldn't be too distraught about it, but they really shouldn't have one in every window.
Okay. Dave, given that feedback, can you guys pick one of the windows, or do you want to consider an alternative location for that sign?
I don't think trying to put another sign on the facade on that side of the building works very well. I think that our best option would be to put it in the leftmost window, and I think that would just help potential customers know where the entrance is, kind of point them in that direction. So I would propose that if we're only going to put it in one window, we put it in the leftmost window, and I think my client would be okay with that.
Okay. I have another comment for you, Dave. I did look at this last night, and I know there's some opportunities for signage at the entryways, and you've got a good amount of copy on there. You've got your cut, your color, your style.
Right.
So a couple of things that I'm not sure how readable that's going to be, given the size of it and the speed at which people are going to drive past it. So that would be my only my comment there. I know you've got it on 2 places, right? We have the main entry off of East Main Street,
Right.
on the large sign, and then there's another secondary sign as well.
Right. I understand that it's not very readable. it's her tagline, and it kind of helps to balance out that horizontal format. So her logo is kind of a bit square, so we'd have a real lot of white space, and it was intended to kind of really balance out the space. So,
Okay. Fred, do we have any other any issues with this on the signage here from a zoning standpoint?
No, it shouldn't be. As long as he doesn't exceed the 15%, I assume they don't. I don't see any other real big problems.
Okay. Okay. Dan or Cindy, do you have any comments on this?
Not I think it looks fine the way it is proposed, and I think I do like the idea of the logo in the window being the leftmost one. I think that's a wise choice.
Yeah, I agree. When I saw that picture, I kind of thought, well, they don't really need 4 signs, on the side. So I kind of thought the same thing. One side would be one sign would be adequate. And I think it actually looks, the best. So I'm fine with everything discussed.
Okay. All right. So we have everything here. We have the main sign over the door. We have the logo on the front door with the hours. We have a window sign on we'll call it the right-hand elevation facing Roach Brothers. And then there are 2 signs in the directories. Is that everything?
yes, that's correct. There's one on the main directory on Main Street, and then there's the one on the entrance driveway, and that's all of the signage.
Okay. Any further discussion? Anybody here want to speak to this?
When you make your motion, just note the title of the plan, the pages of the plan, and the date on the plan.
All right, anyone want to make a motion? Well, I guess I will.
Go back to the primary plan there, Kristen.
Okay, I will make a motion that we approve the signage for Janet's Salon at 600 Union Street. And the drawings are dated May 1st, 2020. And we have one main sign mounted to the above the main doors to the facility. And then there is a logo on the front door with the hours. And then we're allowing only one of the logos on the right-hand glass windows. The first bay, we will allow one logo. And then we're going to allow the main directory sign and then the secondary directory signs as well as presented here on these drawings.
You need a second.
How about a second? Anybody?
Second.
I can second it.
All right, we'll vote on it. Cindy?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
And I give it a big yes too.
You got Hazel.
Oh, Hazel. God, Hazel, I'm sorry. I didn't see you there. You're further down on my screen. Hazel, I'm not sure if we can hear you. You have your mute on? Hazel, how are you doing? Sorry, your mute is on, Hazel. We can't hear you.
I know. I had computer problems. I had to move my computer downstairs.
Ah, no problem. So I'm
Okay,
sorry.
now, yes, I'm unmuted. No, that's fine.
Yes. So forgive me, did you have any comments on this or?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay. And so we're going through the voting and we got 2 yeses and you're next.
I'm fine. Yep.
Okay. And I'm fine as well. So approved other than the change to the side windows there. Dave, are you still there?
Yeah, sorry, I had to unmute. Thank you. Thanks for your time, and I will. I'll let the client know, and we'll make the correction and proceed.
Yeah, Dave, by the way, thank you. This is excellent drawings here. This really tells the story. We appreciate all the work that went into this. This is perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, excellent. Okay, next up is 1 Gleason Street, Village Commons. We've got a couple of things to look at today. We've got proposed changes to Unit Type C. We're going to review the revised landscape plans, and then we're going to look at the commercial building and the summer house designs.
Mailbox. Michael, if I could, I'm sorry to jump in here.
Please.
Farouk sent us an email yesterday, and he had 6 items on that. We're not going to talk about the planning board's lot releases, obviously, but the items are listed 1 through 6. If we could go in that order, because we have Fred Leonardo here. Questions for the commissioner. He can see the order. We're going to discuss these items. If he has questions, because Fred needs to leave early, that'll give him an opportunity to say, I have a question about item 4, let's say. That'll allow Fred to see the order. We're going to discuss things.
Good. And is this list of 6 items someplace, Jim, is that in an email?
Kristen, do you have that up? If not, I sent it to everyone yesterday. We can pull it up if I can send it to everyone again if I need to. I don't see Kristen on my screen. We may have lost Kristen. In the interim, can you look at your email? I'm going to look back at mine and I'll resend it if I need to.
Jim, I have to jump off this call, so if I may, to the chair, I'd just like to make a quick comment.
Yes, please, Fred.
All right, Mike, thank you. So Bill Haslett's here, representing the building department. If you have any questions specific to something that can or can't be done, he can certainly answer that. The only thing I would ask at the end of the day, depending on how you vote and all that neat stuff, is that we get clear direction on our end to what you want or to be included as part of the building permit. So specifically, if you're going to require a specific type of siding, a window, whatever, that we get some kind of clear direction through the board on what should be included as part of the building permit. That's kind of the only thing I'd want to comment on.
Fred, I'm assuming you're meaning, type double hung versus casement versus fixed and, SDLs and bridge between glass. Is that how specific you would like us to proceed?
If that's what you want, yes. Same way with the siding type. If you want vinyl as opposed to like a cement board, as opposed to wood clapboard, whatever. I mean, we're not going to look at colors and all that stuff. I'll leave that to the board and Jim to verify. But as far as actual materials, if you want it to be included as part of the makeup of the building permit, we'd have to have documentation on that so we can track it a little bit.
Okay.
Right.
Duly noted. Thank you.
Right. That's the only kind of 2 cents I wanted to throw into the conversation.
Thank you, Fred.
Thank you.
Michael, I just received a text from Kristen. She's lost connection. She's going to try and rejoin us.
Okay.
But I don't have her screen to share with you at this point until she gets back. She has all of the documents that are necessary for each item in Farouk's memo. We would take them in that order. Until she rejoins us, why don't we talk about what the design review board has to do with regard to the mailboxes, because Farouk did send us the mailbox picture yesterday, and this is for the design review board's information. So mailboxes are placed on a location in the plan that is ultimately approved by the planning board. The design of the mailbox, the way it looks, its enclosure, its lighting, is a subject for the design review board. So Farouk has proposed to use the same gang mailbox that he's used elsewhere. You have a photo of that. That's not an unusual mailbox. It's a typical mailbox. The mailbox itself, I don't think, is a big concern for the board, but rather the enclosure for the mailbox and the lighting for the mailbox. That's something that the planning board has in its subdivision rules and regs. So Farouk will have to provide you an enclosure design and a lighting design at a future date. You can approve the way the mailbox looks today, or if you want to discuss the photo that Farouk sent. Yeah, we have it from yesterday.
The 6 items. Actually, do we want to go back to the mailboxes? We started with the mailboxes. Do we want to continue with that discussion?
Yes.
All right. So as I understand it, along with this prefabricated mailbox unit, there's an enclosure, and more as important, the lighting aspects need to be included with it. So I think Farouk, we really would like to see that enclosure and understand how it's going to function, how it's going to give light, and certainly, you know, safety to the tenants as they leave their cars or walk up to this mailbox to retrieve their mail. Is there any plan on having that enclosure design anytime soon?
Yes, what I was hoping to accomplish today was get your okay to install that prefabricated mailbox on a concrete pad, which is very standard. The post office controls, you know, what kind of mailbox I buy, and then he is on board with it. And once I get that installed, then I'll submit the enclosure part along with the lighting. Usually in my past projects I've used a motion sensor lighting, so as soon as you get near it, it just lights up, you know? So, I mean, I can use a regular light too, or a motion sensor, either or. And the enclosure will be very, very simple and pretty much, you know, compatible with what we have out there in the way of the siding around the enclosure and the asphalt roof on top.
So I guess I worry that if it goes in now, that it won't leave you adequate space to maneuver around this box when you go to build your enclosure, whatever it looks like. And whatever lighting you put on there now, I think that's going to be impeded by the enclosure. If not just, I think the lighting would probably be better mounted to the enclosure. So I guess I'm concerned about that aspects of this part of the project.
Okay, it will not impede building of the enclosure because the enclosure will be approximately a foot away from the mailbox on the back and in the front and all that. So usually, I mean, the lighting will be installed in the ceiling of the enclosure. So that can be done along with the enclosure. Right now, the functionality of the mailboxes will be there for the people so that they can use it. There'll be tons of room to do the enclosure. I'll submit the drawing, you know, hopefully in the next RB meeting or sooner, within maybe a few days, and get that approved and then have it all built out.
If I could ask a question through the chairman.
Please, Jim. Yeah.
So thank you, Kristen, for sharing this plan. Can you enlarge it a little bit? And so Kristen is going to enlarge this plan. If you look at the top of the plan, you'll see a very small box in red. It says mailbox on concrete pad. That's the location. I'm okay with the location because there's parking spaces just kind of diagonally across the way. Someone can park and walk to it if they wish. I think the enclosure needs to be bigger than you described. For a foot away from the mailbox, you know, rear, side, front is not going to give anyone room to maneuver. You're going to need it to be bigger. It's probably going to be 3 to 4 feet either side, because if you're going to install a light that is above it, you're going to need more clearance than 12 inches. People are taller than that. This box is probably no more than 5.5 feet tall. What are you going to do if you got somebody who's 6 feet, you know, 5 inches tall? They're not going to be able to get in the enclosure. So you're going to need to be bigger than that. There are plenty of enclosures around town. I can give you a list of them if you like. The one that comes to mind right away is the Wayside Estates off of Ruggles Street. Take a look at that. It's almost right at the entrance to Wayside Estates. There's one for Ullman Farms. I think it's on Thomas Newton Drive. You can go look at those and see how they function. Anyway.
Yeah, through the chairman. Yes, I live in Wayside Estates, and I know that is exactly the enclosure I was talking about. I just gave you an approximate idea, but there will be enough room to maneuver around the mailboxes, and it will be tall enough. Even a 6.5-foot guy would not have any trouble getting it.
Okay.
I'll mimic that, you know. So.
Yeah, I want to make sure that, quite frankly, if it's pouring rain and you're getting out and you're going to your mailbox, is this enclosure going to be large? wide enough and tall enough that if someone's standing there opening their mailbox, they're not standing in the pouring rain trying to get the mail out of the mailbox.
That is correct. I'll mimic the one in Wayside Estates. I live there. I use that mailbox every day. So.
Yeah, that one is big. Hey, so you go take a look at it.
Okay.
That one provides adequate.
All right.
Yeah.
If you approve that, I'll just have it done.
Baruch, how quickly can you get a drawing together of this enclosure?
I'm going to try to get it done. I mean, I can draw that myself too if you want. If you just want to look at the schematic of it, within a couple of days, I can have
Well, as we're learning, we're trying to give the building department more direction, more information, so we don't have any mishaps, again, for your project and others to come. So, I think, again, my preference is to see a drawing, the elevations, the plan, and how the mailbox fits in there, for many reasons. I don't want to have you put the mailbox in and then, it's too close to the road and the enclosure doesn't fit or it sticks over the driveway. So I think there's lots of reasons to design it first before you start putting anything in the ground.
Okay, but that's what you want. I was going to pull just a concrete pad. I'm meeting with the postmaster. He's the one who pretty much tells me exactly where he wants it. I don't think it's up to me to put it, how close to the road and whether he will tell me that this is how he wants it. So I'm supposed to meet with him either tomorrow or the next day. He said, let me know.
Well, let's do it on paper first, make sure it's right, and then show it to us. And again, assuming it looks like others in town that we've mentioned, you shouldn't have any problems.
Okay. Can I submit photographs, or do you need the schematic? I was just going to submit the photograph of Wayside and just mimic that. So.
No, we understand that, and this sounds pretty simple, but I think the building department, what they're telling us is they want the siding, trim, just call out the trim, call out the siding, call out the roof, and then there's no questions going forward.
Okay, will do.
Okay, Dan, any questions, or Cindy?
None from me.
Okay. Dan, you're muted. Sorry.
Seeing a plan is the right way to go. So we have dimensions. I think you're right. I think it'd be hard to put the unit in and then build around it would be problematic.
Okay. All right. So that's good. So Farouk, just let us know when you have something. Again, just plan with dimensions and call outs for siding, and we'll get that wrapped up. How's that?
Okay. Mr. Chairman, would you require another DRB meeting to approve that, or can you do that via email once I submit it?
Well, I think I won't speak for everybody, but we're all readily available. We're all not really going very far.
Okay.
So if you got something together quick, Farouk, I'm sure we could oblige you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll go to number 2 on the list, and this one says the commercial building plans. And this is for.
Are we going to skip number 1, or are we going to go to number 2 first?
I'm sorry, I screwed up, Hazel. Thank you. The number 1 is the new landscape plan for the Type C units. Okay. All right, Farouk, do you want to take us through this?
Yes. This plan is basically patented after the one that was approved by the DRB at the onset. The list of the plans and everything are all copied from the pre-approved plans that we had to work with. The only difference in this plan is that we have shown the patio, where the patio would go, and then shown where the bulkhead is, and then a walkway connecting the front so people can walk to that patio. That's the only thing that this one does. The rest of the landscaping is the same, along with the species of the plants that were approved. The list is given on the right bottom corner. If you look at it, a whole bunch of plants listed, their heights and everything. We'll just follow that. This
So,
will be for all Type C units.
so this is the exact plant list and pretty much the exact plant placement as the approved plan?
Yes, he had moved a few plants out, a little bit moved it around because to accommodate the bulkhead and what have you. Other than that, the gentleman that did that is the guy that worked for WDA. He's now working for McCarty, but he used to work with Waterman Design. And he said he made sure all the species were conserved, meaning that all the species that were approved are there. But he has changed a few things in the looks to accommodate that, the new design.
And the size of the patio is consistent with the approved size?
Yes, the size of the patio, even though the size was not specified on the renderings, but he said there's an adjacent unit right next to the patio. So he wanted to make sure it was far enough away from the adjacent unit. So the patio size is given as 15 by 10. If you look at it, it's in the house box right there, 15 by 10.
Yeah, so I see it here. A couple of questions I have or comments is, because you didn't show it in the larger plan with the other units next to it, it's hard to gauge. So I don't know if you have the existing approved plan, or if we can go back to that mailbox plan. That doesn't have landscaping in it, right?
Michael?
Yes, Hazel, please, go ahead.
Yeah. Could Kristen put up the original plan from the DRB, which was back in 2014, how this was supposed to look, so that the board has a chance to look at what was originally approved compared to what Farouk is providing us?
That's a good point. Thank you, Hazel. I think that you're going to have to do that because the perspective is definitely different. The bulkhead is now where the patio was. So the patio is smaller and it's actually in a different location. So the landscaping has been moved. The gentleman that did this plan did work for Waterman Design, but he was not the landscape architect that did the plan. That was Michael Dowhan. Michael now has his own firm in Providence, Rhode Island. So this is Larry Green. Larry works locally still. He did work for Waterman, but he's not the same person that did the original plan.
Kristen, can you find that?
The landscape
element drawing, not just the yellow picture. It is, I think I sent, Jim, didn't I send you a copy? Or I printed out a copy, which I got somewhere.
It's in the larger plan set. Give Kristen a moment.
Oh, okay.
She has that. She's just scrolling through pages. I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt there. So the landscape species may be the same. The patio's in a different location. It had to be relocated. The landscape plan has fewer of those species because there's smaller space to work with. The other thing to consider is you're approving a landscape plan for all of the type C units. So there are future type Cs to be built. We still have the issue of the door that enters onto the former patio. If you approve this landscape plan, you're effectively eliminating that door. So if we're still in play discussing that side door that was originally there, and we heard that door can be installed with the little porch and the stoop, and the bulkhead, with the bulkhead, so they can both be there, that will affect this landscape plan. There we go.
Okay.
So you can see the patio is quite a bit different. And you can see it's actually designed differently. And the door, which is in the lower left-hand corner of the patio, or the upper left-hand corner of the patio attached to the house. I don't know if you can enlarge that, Kristen. The bulkhead now is approximately in the center of that patio. And as you can see, the landscaping kind of wraps around the patio to give it privacy. The front door of the unit is on the left-hand side. So you can see there's a little porch that leads down to the main walkway that goes between all the homes. There's the common landscape areas to the left. The original stoop, which entered onto the patio, was protected by a landscape area with one large tree and under canopy plantings. And then you had a much more aggressive landscape plan. But now the bulkhead is in the northeast corner of the patio.
Through the chairman, I know Jim is saying that the bulkhead is where the patio is now. That's incorrect. The bulkhead is never in the area where the patio is even now. The bulkhead is clearly, even if the bulkhead was to be there on this plan, it would clear the patio. So it is not taking any space from the patio at all. The bulkhead is quite a bit farther away from even the previously shown patio. The only thing we have done is shown the new patio and shown the link, the connector. Yeah, you see this patio right here. This bulkhead is not in the patio area at all, and the old patio did not go as far as the bulkhead.
Okay, I stand corrected. Thank you, Farouk.
No problem. But I just wanted to be exact. And then the thing that he added is he added that walkway, so that was not there before, so that you can have a connection to the front of the house, so people can go and use the patio. That's the only difference here. Majority of the landscaping is still the same. He just readjusted some of the plants to accommodate the new configuration. But the species and everything have all been left the same.
Yeah, but if you look at the two plans, you'll notice that the landscaping for the trees runs all the way down the side of the unit, the adjacent unit, all the way down to the driveway. And what's provided here in this landscape plan only covers the size of the patio. And also, I think if you measured this, if we had actual drawings that you could measure out, the patio which is being provided is significantly smaller than the patio which is shown on the original plan.
That is very correct. We wanted to make sure that these plans can be maintained, that the lawn can be maintained. If these plans go all the way to the adjacent unit, like this one is saying, it's going to be very difficult to maintain that, and you're too close to the other house, which is next door neighbor. So he left some space. I mean, I can fill that space if you want, but I think for practicality standpoint, we don't want those plants to go all the way to the other guy's unit. So you're basically taking over the other guy's side yard. If you look at, there's a little line here saying adjacent unit. That line there is for the adjacent unit. That was the landscaper's thought. He said, the designer's thought. He said he wants to keep that, a few feet away from the adjacent house, about 5 feet away from it, so that there's going to be lawn there, there's going to be walking space there. Otherwise, there is no walking space right next to the adjacent unit.
Yeah, but why don't the plants run all the way down the side of the unit the way they were shown on the original plan?
Oh, you mean where the arrow is, right here, you mean?
Yeah, running all the way down.
We can add a few more plants there, if that's what you want. But he just thought these were more than plenty to have the kind of, thing that was going. Just we can add a few more.
Why don't you just go back to the original landscape plan?
Okay. Yeah, but see, those original landscape plan, the bulkhead goes in right in the middle of it. That's why he did what he did. He didn't really reduce anything. He just gave more distance from the adjacent unit, making the patio a little bit smaller than the originally designed. It's just too big. And yeah.
Farouk, the bulkhead is where the planting's labeled C.
Yes, you're approximately yes.
All right. You still can install the rest of that landscape.
Yeah, we can, like I said, I can throw some more plants between the bulkhead and the corner of the house.
No, why don't you install the plan that's shown? That's the point I'm trying to make, is you take out C, because C is where the bulkhead is.
Right.
And just install the rest of the plan.
Okay. I have no problem with that. There's about 5 or 6 more shrubs, yes.
I think it's more than that.
No, you're talking only on this side, right?
No, both sides.
Everything.
Everything was on that plan,
Oh, you mean in the rear?
the original plan.
Okay. You want me to copy that, the side and the rear? I can do that.
So
The
That's
whole
what the
plan.
landscape guy did.
Okay. The whole plan except for the bulkhead.
Okay.
and Jim and Hazel, are you referring to including the stoop and the door as well?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel very strongly about that, and the fact that one of the selling points on these units should be access to that patio. No one is, if you want to eat on that patio, no one is going to go out the front door around this walkway to go to the patio to have a meal. It doesn't make sense. And I think he ought to follow the plans as they were given with the stoop. It was architecturally, if you look at that yellow plan, which I think, I don't know whether everybody got, Kristen, you had at the beginning there. It's a nice architectural detail, which was put on those plans originally for that reason.
Okay, through the chairman. I know you like it. I know you think, but the homeowners, they want to live there. They don't want the door. They said that there is no wall space by putting that door there. I mean, if you look at this right side wall, I mean, if you look at the right side, from the top to the bottom, they're all filled with windows and doors. Where are they going to put the TV? Where will they put the furniture? And that's why these units are all sold. Nobody has an issue. They don't want that door there.
That's your
Why they
problem.
were fine with me eliminating it.
They bought a plan. If you didn't show your homeowners a plan, that was your issue.
No, I showed them the plan. I built the first unit with the door there. I did.
So Farouk, you need to hold the plan because the planning board and the design review board approved a plan with an expectation. You can't then make promises to the homeowner that they're going to have a different plan than what was approved. You've got to come back first. You've got to be proactive instead of trying to fix things after it's too late. That's why we are where we are. You don't plan for the future. You make your agreement with your homeowner and then you expect us to accommodate your agreement. We don't know anything about your agreement.
No, that's not how it happened, Jim. I think this is a little bit of an incorrect characterization of that. I had that door built. I don't think you're hearing it. That door and the stoop was already built in the first unit.
So what's the problem then?
What?
So what's the problem if you
Okay, the problem was we had, okay, I'm not going to put anybody under the bus or anything like that, but that door over there was awfully close to the front door. There were two doors side by side. Now,
Farouk, if you look, Kristen, go back to the plan before this, the one that showed the original landscaping plan. All right, do you look at that plan? That plan shows a wall there that someone can put a TV on. Those doors are not that close to each other. And look at, that is the plan that was approved originally by the design review board. That's what it looks like. And it had the two doors, it has wall space available. You can see where they put the furniture. If you decided to go ahead and change the interior of the units yourself without looking at this plan and paying attention to the way this plan was, that's your problem. This is the plan that was approved by the design review board when these units were going to be built.
okay, once again, through the chairman, I'm not arguing, but you come inside the house and look at it yourself. There is no wall space for putting a TV. The door is right there. You know, I mean, it's not that I don't want to. I already built it like that. And then when we had a conversation with the building inspector, we felt that that door was not going to serve as an egress door. So that had to be moved to the opposite side of the building. And we then ended up putting a door in the garage to satisfy the safety requirements of the building. And this door was too much. So the best thing was to have removed it. So that's how this whole thing came about. I did not change the plans on my own unilaterally. Okay, this was discussed. And I did bring it in front of the DRB meeting about a month ago. And they said they, even though they didn't vote on it, but generally they were okay with me doing that. You know?
They were not.
I know they were never voted on, but I know that. I really think it's going to hurt the people's usage of it, you know, the wall space. They have no place. Come, Hazel, please come to the site. I'll show it to you. And then you decide.
Farouk, so certainly I understand there's been a series of events, you know, around that door.
Right.
So the second egress, you know, you put an egress door in the garage, which we wanted to see on a plan, by the way, but for now, so our second means of egress, emergency egress, is through that garage. So we put you put a man door in there, so if I
Yes.
need to get out, and that was, you know, per the direction of, or the recommendation of the building department to separate the egresses.
Correct.
So the patio, again, is a separate issue. And in my view, if that patio is not easy to get to, it's not going to get used. And the current plan you have, I would have to leave my kitchen, take my lemonade and my sandwich, go all the way out to the front walk, and then kind of then backtrack. So it's a long way. And in my experience, if something is hard to use, it won't get used. And if it doesn't get used, it won't get maintained. So I just think, when this plan was proposed to the planning board, the design review board, the town, we love this concept of this patio because it was easy to get to. It was an outdoor space. And I think because we moved that door, this patio is not going to get used. And I think the town and the design review board, we love the idea of being able to get to that patio quicker. So Kristen, can you go back to the old plan? So the bulkhead is currently where those C plantings are.
Right.
Could that stoop be moved next to the bulkhead so we're mirroring the plan of the patio and the stoop, so it could be flipped? That way the door's away from the television. And now if I want to go out on that patio, I just go over by the stairway and there's my door to the outside.
You mean remove those three? There are 3 windows there.
Yeah, I can't tell on this drawing.
Yeah, right there. Those are 3 windows, 1, 2, 3. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. The whole wall is full of either windows or doors.
Yeah.
So those
So-
3 windows are there, and then there's a door to the master bedroom. If you were to put the door coming out to the patio where the alphabet C is, it
Yeah.
would be coming out of the master bedroom hallway.
Well, right, just again at the bottom of the stairs, just again going from north to south on that plan at the stairs, you know where those windows are, you'd open
Yeah.
the door. I understand there's some door swing issues and everything else,
Right.
but that's a shorter path, and now that's a private outdoor space. And again, I think that was the allure of this plan to the planning board, the design review board. Everybody loved the concept of that idea, being able to get outside and have your own outdoor living area.
Michael,
Yes.
I don't see why if those double windows couldn't be made into French doors.
So, yeah, so again, it would make
Yeah.
a bigger landing, certainly, but a slider would alleviate the swing of the door issue with the door to the master and the door to the stairs. There is what I think I see.
Oh, I
but
see
it
what
just
you're
seems that would be a win-win, Farouk. That's
Yeah, no, I think I like Hazel's idea because this way they have the clear wall space, and the slider will accommodate, I mean, there are 3 windows there. I mean, even though the next 3 units are already built out. So we can, it doesn't have to be a full slider. It can be just a single door too, right? Or maybe a slider, that way you don't have to worry about the swing of the door, and then have just the steps walking down to the patio.
yeah. Well,
That would
you need a landing. So a slider, 6 foot wide slider is going to mean a bigger landing. It's going to eat up space. But certainly I think that location, I think, and this existing plan would keep the concept intact.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it can be a 5-foot slider. It don't have to have a 6-footer. So 5 is also, even a 4. Yeah.
I will
Can
tell
I
you,
ask-
a 5-foot
can I-
slider is not enough. Is hard to get through. Well,
Right, right.
From experience.
It needs to be a 6-foot. And I just want to make the point that I realize that you have built 3 of those and gone ahead and sided them in, which you were not supposed to do. And I would say that this has to be done in every single one of the units. You've got 1 unit that's occupied that can't be changed, but every other one of those units has to conform to whatever decision we make today.
Okay.
And that includes the ones that you've gone ahead and built that you shouldn't have gone ahead and built.
Okay. Through the chairman again, let me just understand exactly so we're all on the same page. We're eliminating this door like I had asked for. but we go where these windows are, and those windows will now be replaced with a 6-foot slider. Correct? Am I on the same page?
That is what we're discussing now, Farouk, and I think everybody's warming up to it. We haven't heard from Cindy or Dan. But again, I think if think what we're looking for is a revised plan, okay? So we certainly need a landscape plan, and would like an elevation, certainly an elevation of that side of the house, all the type C units, showing this proposed slider or whatever door you're proposing with a landing down to the patio. Again, as we have Hazel's here, yeah. So we really do love the original landscaping plan. So we would really want to keep that intact, along with this, as I said, this landing and door to the home, maybe closer to the bulkhead location. You also need to show that egress door on that plan, the new garage egress, and just making sure we can get people out safely to the road, I believe.
Okay.
So did I miss anything?
Through the
Right.
chair, can I say something here?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm just trying to work with the board to try to make this to go away,
Yep.
so we can fix it right. Now, let's say, I'm just asking so that I can sit down and talk to my architect about it. If I left the door the way Hazel likes it, if I left the door where it is, but eliminate the 2 windows in the middle, that way, the wall space will be back and everything will remain intact. That way, that will give them the wall space, to accommodate. We don't have to go to the slider or anything like that. I think the slider and what have you will make a drastic change to the plan, because those plans I have shown to the prospective buyers. Those are all pre-sold, and they know they'll be fine with the door that was shown to them that we later tried to eliminate. But to add the slider and what have you could be too big of a drastic change. So would you be amenable to if I showed you the plan of that side of the building with eliminating those 2 windows, and that accommodates the need for the wall space that they can use for TV, and leaves Hazel's door where it is. We don't have to eliminate that, because we would then have gained back the wall space.
Yeah.
And
So
nothing else changes.
Kristen, can you put that plan, that landscape plan back on for us? The approved plan? So I guess, so I just, so we understand what you're saying, Farouk. So you want to put the original door back into the patio, but you want to eliminate the door, the windows, the grouping of windows.
Right here. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, but where's your TV guy? I don't see how that's a win for your homeowner.
Okay.
Now the TV is in the hallway, right? You
No.
need the wall space for the TV, right?
Right. You see where the door is showing going out to the stoop? Yes.
Okay.
From the right side of it, the whole wall would be open, and they can put the TV where right there, they can put the TV there. As far as those TVs are large nowadays, so there was not enough space. So if you eliminate these windows, or maybe keep 1 window, and eliminate the 2, or whatever, I would just say get rid of these windows, and that will give them the wall space for everything they want, the whole wall space from here to there.
Farouk,
So
I
if
understand
that's the-
where you're going with this, but I lay out living rooms all day long, every day.
Okay.
And that TV is going to be in a bad spot. So I appreciate what you're saying, but I think, we like the windows. We like the look of the approved look of that side of the house. And I think you're doing a disservice if you remove those windows. And I don't know, that's my feedback.
So you're saying remove those windows and put a slider there?
I just think that gets you, I don't know. I think that makes the interior work better. Again, I don't live there, but I just think eliminating those windows is going to make that side of the house dark. Again, you can make that proposal to us. So we want you to come back, whatever change you make. We need you to come back with an elevation. That side elevation of the house, specifically, wherever you want to put the door. And we need to see this plan, this landscaping plan implemented with the new door location, and also showing that egress door in the garage and our path to the street or sidewalk.
I have submitted the plan showing that door in the garage. The building department already has it. I may have even sent one to Jim as well, but not in this landscaping. This is the old plan. That plan has already been submitted.
Yeah, but I don't think it's in your new plan either, Farouk, and it's not a big deal. I just want in the landscape plan, whatever we do,
Okay,
we want to show it as it pertains to the new landscape, the new door to the patio, and the new egress door to the sidewalk. Okay, so I know it's built, and we want that door in the garage, and it's necessary. But you know, we gotta get people out to safety.
Michael, through you.
Yes.
Farouk, we need a new facade plan for that side, showing, and a plan showing the restored landscaping minus the shrub C where the bulkhead is. We need that plan, because if you don't give us that plan and this board does not approve that plan, I am not signing your building permit. Okay? And as far as I'm concerned, you're not getting an occupancy. We don't have approved plans. So I'm hoping you're taking notes. I'm not seeing you taking any notes. I want a new facade plan that this board can approve so that we all understand what you're going to build. You need to get organized. And the building department is organized. They have a format for applications for building permits. This is part of that building permit. If it's not part of it and it's not part of the package that I receive, I'm not signing your building permits. This is clear. It's got to be really simple. We need to know what you're building going forward. You may see that as a problem for you because you may think you know what you're building, but obviously we are here right now because it hasn't happened. So you may think I'm being hard on you, but I have to be clear. We need a plan that we can see, we can call out in a vote, and the building department knows what was approved. It's that simple.
that's fine. I said I'll submit that.
Okay.
Yeah, see right there, the door is shown.
Yes. And that's great. I'm just saying when you change the landscaping plan, the new revision of the landscaping plan, if you could just show that door on the plan.
I will do that.
Great. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. So we feel good about going forward, Farouk. You know what we're looking for when you come back.
Okay,
This item.
Can I summarize what I've been told? I've been writing this down here. And in summary, you want to see the elevation of that side of the house, type C, showing the proposed location of the door, and also the landscaping restored to what was in the original plans, minus the bulkhead, and the patio just the way it is shown right now. I think you should be okay with the patio, but we'll remove the walkway because the walkway will no longer be needed, to go to the front. Because if you're going to enter from the side, and you're giving me the opportunity to show you with a possible slider on that side by removing the windows. I think we're all on the same page, right? So.
Well, except, okay, I want to make sure that the patio, there is a difference in size in the patio between the one that you showed and the one that that is shown on the original landscaping plan. We need measurements on those. I need to know the size of the patio when you do the landscaping plan. I'm guessing on the plan we have. So I'd like to see it. And as I said, it looked smaller to me than the one you proposed is obviously smaller than the one that was originally on the original landscape plan.
Yes, it's a little bit smaller so it doesn't hit the adjacent unit, so.
Yeah, so if I could say something, that's what this whole time, that's what I'm struggling with is I'm looking at these plans, they don't have dimensions on them. So the one looks clearly bigger than the other. And when I was out at the site, I'm almost questioning, could you even have put that in, that original plan in there? It seems like you would be right up against that other house, but I can't really tell. Because when I look at this this new plan, the patio is not much bigger than the bulkhead in this plan. So if we could get dimensions, that would help tremendously. And if you have a door and then you have a landing, and that's a 42-inch landing, you may be halfway across your patio by the time you get down to the patio. So dimensions, of the bulkhead, of the patio, just so you get a really good idea of the size of it and how close it is going to be to the next unit.
Right. I think the dimensions are given on my plan, 15 by 10. It's written there.
But again, we want the original approved plan. So whatever you drew, Farouk, it looks to be smaller than what the
It is.
approved plan was.
It is smaller, a little bit smaller, yes.
Okay, but again, we love the original approved plan, and that's what our expectation is.
Okay, so you want me to make the patio the same size as the original plan? That's gonna be very close to the other guy's house though.
Yep, that's what was approved.
Right, it was. Okay,
Okay,
all right, I'll submit that.
excellent. All right, good. Do we want to move forward to number 2?
I'm ready.
This is the commercial building plans. So I think those have been forwarded to the board, and maybe you could walk us through that.
Sure, yes. Okay. Yeah, that's the foundation plan of the building. That's basically the same, yeah. Let's go down, yeah. That's the roof plan. Now, that's the front elevation of the building and the side elevation of the building. That's the key one. Yeah, and that's the right side, left side, and the rear. It's a 3,000 square foot building. Now, this is just it's just for completion. I mean, I'm only applying for the shell for the building, and then whoever wants to open up whatever they want, they can put the appropriate partitioning. So I thought the DRB would be more concerned with the outside looks. So I think if you go, yeah, one more down, then we can focus on that. There you go. Yeah, right there. That's what and we're proposing the same kind of siding as was used in the rest of the units and same roof as the rest of the units. We'll just pick a color.
So do we have I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead, Farouk, I'm sorry.
Okay, and then also, if you look at the side of it, we have shown some vinyl stone, panels, just to give it a little break and make it look nicer.
May I just ask, in regards to this commercial building, where on the lot of the entire development is this supposed to be situated?
As soon as you drive into Dania Drive, it will be the first building on your left-hand side before you get to the residential. Can somebody put up that plan they just had of the mailboxes? That would show where this building is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is Kristen doing that? I guess she is. They will tell you exactly where this building is. There you go. You see that building as you enter from Fisher Street? It says Building A, retail office Building A. Yeah, that's where it's at.
So where is that tower, the entrance tower, we'll call it, I guess? What corner is that located at?
The entrance what?
There's a tower design where the stone is on there and the glass and the sign.
Oh, it would be, okay, can you move the arrow down here a little bit? That corner right there. The top right corner. No, to the right, right there, yeah.
So if I drive in and take a right off of Fisher Street and I park, and the tower is going to be on my right-hand side or my left-hand side?
I think it's going to be in that corner. The corner has a multi-dimensional entrance. You can enter from the front or from the side. This is the plan, so you can't see from that side. But if you look at the actual building plan, you will see that you can enter from both sides. There you go. Okay. See, this is the front door, front elevation. Here's the front door. And this is the side elevation. So you can walk around the side and come in through the front door.
so that right elevation at the bottom of this page,
Yeah.
that faces all of the units in the facility, or is that
No,
face
that faces the road, Daniel
Fisher
Drive.
Street? That faces Fisher Street.
No, it faces Daniel Drive. The front door faces Fisher Street.
Okay.
Yeah, that faces Fisher. Can you pull down the plan, Christian, a little bit? He'll get a better idea when he sees that, the layout. Yeah, I think it's down the other way. Yeah, yeah, down. Yeah, one more. No, further. Or maybe go up. I don't know how. You see that now? Yes. Oh, okay, okay. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah. One more. Yeah, see that? You can see that? You see the little square at the bottom?
Yep.
Bottom left? Okay. This side, the left side of that faces Fisher Street, and where the arrow is faces down here.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So the materials on this, what type of siding are you proposing?
We were proposing vinyl siding, and I think the samples were dropped off at Jim's office about a week or 10 days ago. It's the same. It's no different than what we're using on the residential units.
Which units are those for?
All the other one, the one in the back, 1 through 15.
Okay. So there's the type C units that we just talked about, and then there's the original units. So these are units further back in the development. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, they all got basically the same siding. You know, type C units have two different types, which is clapboard on the top and then the shingle type at the bottom around the garage. But over in the commercial building, we're just going to use the clapboard.
Clapboard, okay, and it's vinyl. All right. And,
Yes, it is.
And what type of corner boards and trim are you proposing?
The corner board and the trim, we are proposing, like we used on the other one, the AZAC.
Okay. And do you have dimensions and stuff on these drawings?
Yes, I think if you look at those plans, it shows the thickness of them, but obviously, if you move down, it will show. It looked very nice, I think.
Well, it's an important building. You know, it's right on the road. It's the first thing that everybody
Yes.
is going to see.
Yes.
So I think it's important that you know, it's certainly done as best as we can, right?
Right. Yeah. It will look. Trust me, it will look very pretty once I'm done with it.
And this stone, you're saying it's a tile? Is it? And what
No,
is it?
it is. They make stone now in vinyl sheets that I've used in many houses. It looks exactly like stone, but very, very easy to maintain. Hardly any maintenance at all.
And there's a sample in the building department someplace?
No, that stone sample, we did not provide that, but I can get you that.
Do you have that on another building close by, or?
Yes, actually, I did those bricks. They're different styles in the Zara Gardens. I think 2 or 3 houses have that. If you drive around, you'll see it.
Okay, and that's the development off of
Route 30.
Route 30.
Yes.
All right. And what are you proposing? The roof is asphalt shingle?
Asphalt shingles, complementary to the rest of the neighborhood.
All right.
Same exact.
And what about the windows?
The windows, the same United windows, and they have to be specific size because it's a commercial layout, and the sizes of the windows is given in the window schedule. If you look at it on the top, on the right-hand side, there's a little legend there, and it tells you all the window schedules. They're all there.
So, Michael,
Yes.
sorry, through the chairman. I'm not familiar with vinyl stone. I know I've seen resin stone, I've seen concrete stone, obviously, and natural stone. I don't know the durability of vinyl stone. I've seen bipon stone. It's used at the retirement village across from the post office there, the Highlands. that stone can be picked up and moved with a couple fingers. That entire marquee sign there can be lifted up and moved with 5-pound stone. I would ask, we have our assistant building commissioner here, about the durability of that. Remember, this building is going to be a commercial building. It doesn't receive the same kind of treatment or wear that a residential building does. I would be concerned about the integrity of the materials. That's only my comment. And I would ask that the board members think about that and maybe go look at Zara Gardens. And I'd like to hear from the building commissioner about that material.
Hi, Jim. Yeah, it's durability wise and everything. It's not as consistent on a commercial building having vinyl and everything. There is, vinyl always, it chips easily, breaks easily and everything like that. Vinyl, on an application like that will show its wear. But in turn, are you saying consistent with the Highlands in town?
So Bill, thank you for that comment. Thank you. My question was, the Highlands has that 5-pound brick, and thank you for saying that it doesn't receive the same treatment as a residential building. So residential buildings will have less damage or less contact with commercial landscapers than a commercial building does. I am concerned about the durability of the materials. So you answered my question, Bill. I would just ask that the design review board think about that and maybe go look at Zara Gardens. You don't want to just approve a material that's proposed simply because it was proposed. And that's why.
Could I raise one issue? I noticed that the title on this was listed, and I know there's some thought about this being a daycare center. And I believe that there are different requirements in access and a lot of things if this were a daycare center versus if it were a commercial building. For example, if it's a daycare center, there would need to be some sort of outdoor play area, I would assume. So at this point, as I said, I want to make the board aware of the fact that if there's a change of use in this building, there would have to be significant changes in the plans in order to accommodate a daycare center. Is that correct, Bill?
Yes, that is correct. How it is set up right now, it is set up as an institutional style daycare because it doesn't meet the educational. So with the institutional, that triggers sprinklers. But if it was educational use, each room that children would be in would have a direct egress to the exterior. And that wouldn't require sprinklers because of the egress from every room. So everybody has adequate egress within that area. So additional doors would have to be added. I do see right now how I see a door going out the back towards the playground area. It's hard to say just by looking at the plan, the occupancy load for that. But if 2 exits are required for a daycare, people are getting back into the playground area they'd need to get away from the building further. So that rear egress would be required to maybe have some type of panic bar on the fence or something, because you can't funnel people into a fenced in area. But the type of sprinklers take a big part on what type and how this is looked with egress doors.
So Farouk, is at the moment, is that the plan that this would be a daycare? Is that?
Well, see, I don't want to commit to that because I'm by virtue of the decision, I have to have a 3,000 square foot commercial building space available. And that's what I'm doing here. Now, every time you do a commercial building, you just build the shell. And then whoever the tenant is has to make the proper modifications, at which time they'll have to come back in front of the review board again if they were to make any substantial, changes. When I first started out, I was thinking about the daycare because I thought that would work very well in that area because of so many units. So this was my thought, and that's why I was suggesting that. And if you go all the way down, I even showed a plan if this was to be a daycare, how it would look with the rooms and all the architect designed this. But we may have to go in front of some approval for the daycare where they may ask us to modify interior plan, not the exterior. But right now, all I'm looking from the DRB is, this is the building, these are the windows, that's the material for the siding and the roof. And of course, the stone is something you want to review it, so I can get my building permit and get the structure up.
But this building could also have multiple tenants in it too? Is that possible?
It's possible that if the daycare doesn't pan out, then if the lawyers come or if the dentist office comes, yeah, they may get subdivided inside of that thing, but the outside won't change. The entrance will still be in the front. The inside will be, like any other office building. It's only 3,000 square feet. I don't really expect like 10 tenants there, maybe 2.
Yeah. But even 2, everybody would enter into that tower, and,
yes,
and that would still be the main entrance, right?
Exactly. Only one main entrance.
Except if it was a daycare center, there are going to be additional doors. As Michael was commenting, there are going to be significant changes in the exterior of the building because there would have to be the additional places for people to go in and out of. So I guess I would want to make sure that when we look at this plan that we could see a plan for a possible daycare center maybe and a possible straight commercial space so that we'd have some idea that the two things would be interchangeable.
Well, go down to the last page, Kristen. You will see that the daycare is laid out. There it is. I've already done that.
It's the exterior I'm talking about.
Yeah, this is, no, you said the exterior, so it shows the doors. See the side door, all those doors are shown. Now, we may still be asked, after the review to add more doors, but you see the playground area, everything is all shown there in case if that gets decided as a daycare. But this was done by an architect, so I'm assuming he knew what he was doing when he designed it. There's only one door to the side.
Number of doors.
There's only one door in the back, in the side of the building that takes you to the playground.
We're going to lose this meeting soon, so you'll have to check your email for a new Zoom meeting coming.
All right. So this is just to give you, okay, I guess we lost them? No. So that's, but right now, I'm going to put that door, the rear door, one door, just to be on the safe side, but get the building up. And that will be in compliance with my special permit.
Question for the building commissioner. Is that your understanding as well, Bill, regarding the doors?
Yeah, the use will drive the egress and everything in the occupancy. So just to say an empty shell, it would fit the requirements for an empty shell, but the use will drive what is required.
Yes. Great.
But if we are keeping in tone with the daycare, it would be sprinkled or the additional doors on the exterior.
But the empty shell will show the siding. In other words, he'll have to put the siding on, put the windows in, roofing, all the exterior trims. That would all be part of the quote empty shell.
That is correct.
So I guess my general comments on the elevations, again, understanding that, some things may change. I think it needs a little more articulation. As I said, it's a pretty important building. That is going to be the first building everybody is going to see when they drive up to that point. So the stone is a nice feature, and there's not a lot of it there because of the glass, certainly. And then the signage is important, the lights are important, the awning is important. So all those details I think are pretty important, you know, how they get put on the building, how they're installed, what they're specified as. You know, the windows, we've talked before, do you do some sort of grid at the top of the windows or in that window just to give it some sort of articulation? This building could be anywhere. It just doesn't look like it's specific enough for that location. As you know, Farouk, we've been toiling over the details on landscape and everything else. So again, I wish the tower were a little more detailed or a little more close up so I could kind of see the details is my feedback. I certainly want to check out that stone. I'd like to see the siding detail and the corner boards just to make sure I understand it all.
I thought it was shown on the plan. I don't know how much more detail you can put in, but if you guys like the stone, the real stone, it's really not that big of a deal. I could just, if that makes you happy, I'll just do the real stone, you know, and then eliminate the vinyl stone completely, you know, and then do that if that would make it easier for you to go along with it, you know. So I'll just put the real stone and have the mason do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I certainly wouldn't fight you on that one. I just think the real stone or stone veneer would be a better choice.
That's what I mean. Stone veneer is what I meant. Real stone veneer.
If I can make a suggestion.
Yes, Haley.
You know, when other people come to the board, like Pulte, and people are building even a shell, like, you know, when we're all together, you know, they'll have the stone, they'll have the siding, we can feel it, we look at it, you know, all the details are, you know, they're on a plan, but they're also a sample of it. And I'm wondering if there's a way that we could do something like that. I know it's hard nowadays, but if there was a place where, you know, we could go and see the stone and see the, you know, the vinyl and the color, and, you know, here's the, you know, window spec, here's a, you know, because a lot of times we'll get the plan, but we'll also get a whole package of, you know, a window specification. Here's the door. This is what it's made of. You know, we see the, you know, see and feel the samples of the materials that are being used, and that's super helpful for us to determine what, you know, what the quality of the building is going to be made of and what it's going to look like.
I have dropped off the samples, the real samples at the building department, the vinyl siding and also the asphalt shingles. So you already have them for about a week or 10 days, but not the stone. We just talked about it. I can get you a sample of the stone, of the veneer, you know, one piece, if you want, you know, I can do that. So that way it completes that. The windows, I don't think we can bring the windows out there, but
maybe a, you know, spec, you know.
Yeah, I can show you some pictures. Yes, I can show you some pictures of the windows with the specifications on it. There's been a spec out. I can submit that. But the samples are already there if you want to look at it.
Yeah, the one other thing was I didn't see any landscaping plan really for this commercial building. I see the building, but I don't see any landscaping. Has anybody else seen a decent landscape? I mean, there obviously should be some plantings around the building, I would assume.
Yes, thank you, Hazel. A landscape plan is required, none was submitted. And Farouk, bringing samples to the building department or the planning board not going to help my design review board because the public is not allowed in the municipal building. Until we reopen, you know, none of the members of the board can enter the municipal building.
Okay, I will submit, you know, a landscaping plan a little bit later, but if you guys are okay with the actual building, I want to get started on it because the landscaping will come way in the end. And there's a separate plan altogether, you know, that just shows going around the foundation. I'd appreciate if the board would consider, you know, giving me the okay for the building itself so that I can go ahead and get the frame up and get the thing done. And then, yeah, in the interim, I'll submit a landscaping plan. And once you approve that, then we'll get the landscaping done too.
Through the chairman, I don't understand what in the interim
Hello.
Part 3.
So, Jim, when we got cut off, you were you were going to make a summary or a point. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, I was making a point. So I was saying interim, to build the building with incomplete plans and saying, well, please let me build the commercial building. And in the interim, I'll design the landscape plans. Interim is not a point definite for me. I don't know where on a schedule interim falls. So if you're telling me that you're going to deliver me a landscape plan and you don't get it to me till September, you're missing the growing season. We need to have that landscape plan now. That needs to be something that's approved now. It's urgent because we're coming to the end of the spring planting season in about 3 weeks. You're not going to plant that landscape because you're going to build that building. We need to have a landscape plan so that you're ready to install in September.
I'll submit the plan in about a week's time. I'm not talking about September. I'm talking about doing it now. I got to get this out. Right now, we are going through a roll. I want to complete the job and complete it in accordance with the approved plans. So, I mean, by the time I get the building, I cannot do the landscaping till after the building is up. We have plenty of time for you to review and approve that. But I will submit the plan a lot sooner. In about a week, I'll have a draft plan submitted to the board. But in the meantime, if you approve the design of the building, at least I can pursue the building permit on it and get the foundation in and get the building started. I won't need the landscaping until almost, like you said, September.
So Farouk,
yes,
we need a complete proposal. And we need that because that's part of the process. Without the landscaping plan, the building plan, all the details and everything, it can't go through the system because Bill in the building department cannot approve it without the approval for everything from this board, and I'm assuming the planning board and maybe other boards that you may need to encounter. But it needs to be a complete thought and a complete approval. This building can look very different depending upon the landscaping. You got windows on one side and there's lots of siding, so the landscaping is there. Everything plays a role in how that building is going to look, which is important to us. That's our charge. So we have to have a complete plan, a complete set of what we're going to improve from a building standpoint and a landscaping standpoint before you can apply for your building permit. That's the process.
okay. All right, so what's lacking here is basically no landscaping plan, which I will have my guy do it. And the samples have been dropped off to complete that part of it. And I don't know what else is there. The window pictures, I'll submit those. And hopefully we can come back and get the approval from you once the landscaping plan is submitted. That's the one that's going to take the longest.
Farouk, do you have a sample of your stone? I mean, unless the board is telling you, and maybe the board did tell you to use real stone veneer. Is that right?
Yes, I will submit a piece of stone veneer that I'm
Okay.
proposing to install. If that's what makes the board happy about that, you know?
It'll need to be somewhere on site because again, the residents cannot enter the municipal building. So bringing it to the building department or the planning board is not going to allow Michael or Dan or it's Hazel or Cindy to go in and look at it. So if you have a place on site, I know you must have a construction trailer out there, right?
Oh, I definitely can meet them. Oh, that would be the best thing. I can have a sample of the siding, the roofing, and the stone. Those are the only three things they need, right?
Okay.
The AZAC is AZAC. That's white stuff. So,
That would be very helpful.
yes, most definitely. And
Make
then
sure
I'll
you
submit.
tell the staff at the building, at the trailer, where the samples are so that when one of my members shows up, they can show it to them.
That's fine. We'll meet in one of the houses or near the houses. All right, on site.
We need to know where to go, Farouk.
Yes, I'll let you know.
Construction trailer.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
And maybe you could, again, this week, whatever week or day, just let us know the address, where to show up. And then again, we could either show up alone or together, whatever's convenient.
No problem.
We
Okay.
can't do together unless it's a full meeting, Michael, so we have to make sure that no more than two of a time can we come.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
All right. So Farouk, I guess the other thing that's important here is, when I look at these drawings, I still think it's a little underwhelming. We've got some beautiful buildings in that development, and I just think you need a little more detail on these rear elevations. And I brought up windows. You could add grids. There could be some more trim. Certainly, a better stone is a step in the right direction. But I still think it needs a little more articulation on the outside, would be my advice.
Okay. When I resubmit the plan with the landscaping, you would see that.
Awesome. Does anybody have any more points they'd like to make?
If we're going to go to the site, what would be real helpful for me is if there's a way you could stake out that patio, so we could just kind of see how big this thing is and where it's going, as far as how big it is next to the other building. So if we're already going to be out there, it'd be great to just see a kind of a staked out version of that patio.
Okay. Since we're all here, can we just say Monday?
Monday is Memorial Day.
Oh,
Farouk, we cannot meet as a board outside, as a board, all of us together, unless it becomes an official meeting and it has to be noticed to the public. So we are trying to go individually to look at
that's
these
fine.
things.
No, I'm just proposing, say Tuesday then. How about next Tuesday? Any two people can come.
Why don't you just have it ready Tuesday and they'll
Yeah.
come when they can?
Sure.
Please understand, they can't all show up at the same time.
No, I know that. I've heard that. I said, even two people, I'd rather be there to show them, and whoever comes.
Okay, so it'll be ready Tuesday, and you can send maybe Kristen an email, and Kristen will give us the green light that it's available for us to go see, and we'll check it out sometime next week.
Okay.
And again, when you're ready to propose the drawings, we'll all understand what the materials are. How's that?
Sounds like a plan to me.
Awesome. Excellent. All right. So let's move on to the summer house plans. And Kristen, I don't know if you can put those on the screen, and Farouk, if you want to take us take us through there.
Okay, here's a 4 different elevations of the 4-car garage attached to that summer house. I know people keep calling it clubhouse. I'll tell you, the DRB approved that as a summer house. It doesn't say a clubhouse at all. So that's the design that was approved, and we basically mimicked that in this plan for building permit. There's no changes. It's just that one room. The garages are all the same. I don't know if the DRB needs to look at the garages, because those we already built those out, at least in one location. And then if you look at the summer house, that is the extreme left-hand room. Okay, I think we just had that on the screen. No, we're gonna go back up. Yeah, nope. One more.
Go
Go
down
up,
one,
yeah.
Kristen.
Down or up, I don't know. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, the bottom one. There you go. Yeah, please. Just stop right there. Yes. You see that summer house on the extreme left? That's what was proposed. And it has a partitioning wall between the garages and that. And it's a very small room, and it's all taken from the DRB approved plans. And this guy, the architect, basically drew the doors and the windows and what have you. It doesn't even show a bathroom in it, because that was not proposed in the order approved by the DRB at the time. They don't have any final plans, so we made the final plans out of it. Basically mimicked it. It's 24 by, I think, 19 or something. 9 plus 7 is 60. Yeah, 24 by 24. Yeah, approximately. So that's the summer house. And if you look at the facade of it, it's identical to the one DRB approved. If you can go down a little, up or down where the facade is shown?
Yeah, go back to the first slide. So while we're waiting for that, the DRB doesn't approve anything in the interior, Farouk. So we
Right,
wouldn't
right,
approve
Right,
bathrooms
that's
and
fine. This is yeah, I'm only talking about the exterior. So that's identical to what was proposed in the original plan.
So the planning board has given the developer direction on providing bathrooms and heating and air conditioning.
Yeah, one bathroom inside, yes. And air conditioning and heating, yes.
So I'm sorry, so what are we looking at and what do we want to approve?
Nothing, it's just a plan, I guess, so.
Yeah,
So
I
this
don't
was-
think
this
you,
is-
sorry, Michael, just as a second here. The materials have been planned,
Yes.
approved, rather. I don't think that the board needs to do anything here. As long as he doesn't deviate from this plan, he should be fine. The summer house came up because the building commissioner called me and said, the plan has been submitted for a building permit. There's no interior fit up. And that raised the summer house / clubhouse to the planning board. And the planning board gave Farouk direction to install bathroom, heating, and air conditioning so that the space could be more than a summer house. The term summer house is another name for clubhouse. Farouk was not the original designer and builder. Mr. Zaretti was. When Mr. Zaretti came, he was calling it summer house because this is supposed to be a village. Those were the terms he used, but it's intended to be a clubhouse. It's intended to be a community meeting space that's usable. If there's no bathroom, heating, air conditioning, they'll use it for about a month out of the year. It's basically a wasted space. It needs to be usable. So the planning board instructed the developer to build a bathroom and provide heating and air conditioning and plumbing. So that's where we're at.
Could I raise the question of landscaping around this? I really haven't seen any plans that had landscaping around the summer house, around the garages. I'm a little concerned about that. There were, in the parking lot, I noticed, I saw a plan, there were, some trees in the parking lot, but other than that, this is going to look very stark unless we have some sort of landscaping around these structures.
Yeah, through the chairman, yes, there is some landscaping shown on the original plan. And if you go back to the overall design, you will see that it's there. You cannot have much of landscaping in front of the garage doors. It's just the driveway there,
Well, obviously.
In the front there is. Kristen, is there any way to look at that big plan that you had showed for that mailbox? I think it shows that. I know the landscaping is there that you guys approved. And I'm not going to deviate from that. No reason to.
The summer house is in the center. There's a patio, I
See
think.
that patio? There's a big patio there. And yeah, and I have another plan that shows that little, landscaping there, and then the remainder of the landscaping for the adjacent unit 3 will cover the back of the garage. So that's basically it.
Kristen, if you can enlarge that, and then the plan that's in the corner, upper left corner is the plan. Let me see, is that the plan?
Yeah,
for the
there it is.
Yeah.
Go up a little bit. Yeah.
No, that's the office. That's the,
Go down.
yeah.
Yeah,
go down.
Michael, I was just kind of following up on your discussion about the fact that this was supposed to be a village that was unique, and the landscaping contributes so much to this. And I just think we want to be careful that the landscaping is done in a way as to follow through with this village type feeling that you'd have about this.
Yep. Again, through the chairman, you can see the big patio that was originally approved. You can see the landscaping in front of it. And then the landscaping for the units will be the side landscaping for that garage. So it's all there.
Okay. But this is not the landscaping plan, but there is one that was approved, and that's the plan you're going to follow.
Yes, I have that too.
Okay, and as is the building details for the summer house. Whatever plan is approved is what you need to build.
Exactly. No reason to deviate.
Okay? The
Yes,
materials, windows, everything is as approved.
right.
Okay?
Just
And-
showing it to you, that's all.
Okay, so is there anything you're looking to change, or we're just, this is,
No.
it's gonna start, and we're gonna build it, and,
No, I'm not looking to change anything with the DRB. I just want to make sure you let the building department know that you're okay with the plan so that they can process their building permit. I went in front of the planning board also, and they directed me to add a bathroom, air conditioning and heating, like Jim articulated. So that's the end of that. So now I can go ahead and build it out.
Well, I would assume that you'll need to do different plans to the building department, which will include those things before they'll give you any sort of permits.
Yes, I have to resubmit the plan showing the bathroom. That's all. Air conditioning and heating is always there, so.
I have one quick question, looking at this drawing, is this the approved drawing?
Yes.
This was, you had approved a rendering of it, yes.
Okay,
I think,
but this
hold on.
drawing,
I may have one here that I can
Okay.
probably show you.
All right. but, so this was the approved drawing by this board, and I assume there'll be construction drawings that will accompany this to the building department for your permit process, that permit review process.
This is what you had approved
Okay,
at the time. See
and is that what's on this drawing?
Yes,
Okay,
okay. This is,
All right.
this
Excuse me,
was my design.
these drawings seem to be approved February 13th of this year.
No, this was approved June 22nd of 2015.
That's the correct date. So the 2015 drawings are the approved drawings.
I submitted this for the building permit, you know?
this
These
drawing
are-
that's on the screen now is what you submitted.
Yes. And
The date of those is February 15th, 2020.
that is correct.
So does this drawing match the approved drawings?
Yes, I just showed it to you. This is the approved drawing that you submitted, that you approved on. If you look at the date, there's a date at the bottom right here.
Yeah, I was not on the board at that time, so I
Oh,
didn't
okay,
have
okay.
that.
You see the date? It says June 22nd, 2015. Jim is aware of it. So.
Okay, so when this goes to the building department, Bill, you're gonna get a permit, you got this drawing, and you're gonna get an approved drawing from the design review board, is that your normal course?
No, you just have to say, okay, they're fine with everything, but you have to, since you are part of it. And yeah, Jim just said you don't have to act on it. It's, as long as you don't have an issue with it, I should get the permit.
My question would be the materials for the summer house area. I see AZEC, but what is the plane of the gable end and the wall? What's the covering for that? Is that consistent?
Yes. If you look at it says herringbone shingled siding. It says right on, I'm reading it off the approved plan by the DRB. It says herringbone shingle siding, driftwood roof shingles, and metal roofing for that, which is very obvious. You can see it.
Can you enlarge these plans, Kristen, moving to the upper left corner? Standing seam metal roof,
Yeah.
cupola dimensions.
Yep.
Okay, so those are just dimensions. Kristen, can you move down to the bottom of the plan? There were notes. Okay, move to there we go.
Those are the structural details. I had the code review done on it and they signed off, so. But the exterior material is shown right here in your approved plan, so I'm gonna follow that.
So Bill, do you have also a copy of those approved?
Right, no, I do not. That's why I'm trying to
Okay.
get that all tied together for this.
Okay. So is that a normal course on a design review board approved project? Do you normally get a set from the town, from us, or do you get it from the applicant?
Well, I would prefer from the DRB.
Okay.
So there's no inconsistency and we have the correct set with dates and everything like that. I would feel better that way.
Okay. So Jim, do we have a process that it should flow, or what's our charge here?
So normally, prior to the COVID, there would be a meeting in my office. Right now, my office and building share the same space. I could easily meet with Bill with my files and we could go over that. I'm going to have to electronically pull those plans up and send them to Bill. So the answer is, normally we would just simply compare what was submitted by the applicant to what was approved at the DRB, just to make sure that they match. We will do that remotely now.
Good, excellent, excellent. And what's that trigger? Does Bill see it's in a certain district and he looks for it, or is it pretty much tagged?
So where there's a design review required, like at Bay State when we reviewed that sign this morning, the building department is aware of the special districts that require design review approval.
By address.
So when the building permit comes, it will be sent to me to review for my purposes, and one of my purposes is design review. I won't sign the building permit until the design review has been completed and I have plans and specifications to give to the building department.
Great. Okay. Good. Good.
Through the chairman, I'd like to make it, since you guys are okay with it, I'll resubmit this plan with the specs that are approved on it, so that you don't need two separate plans to look at it. And Jim can verify that. Like it says shown with. I don't know if that means that's what you want, or you want any color of archways. This particular plan that was submitted is showing with a certain color siding, a certain color roof, and metal roof is metal roof. I can put that on this plan and resubmit it. So there's all there. If you want that particular color combination.
So the metal roof has color to it. Yeah, please submit that to us. So
okay. All right.
That to the design review board and copy Bill Heslett.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Excellent. Good. So we're all good. Okay. So summer house, we feel good. We're going to apply. We're going to build it as approved.
Yes.
Number 4 was what we talked about first, the mailbox location. You're going to work on your drawings for the enclosure and the lights.
Yes.
And so we're moving to number 5 on the agenda. And Bill is going to review the window placements on the Type C units. So we want to talk about windows. Or on the Type C units. Who wants to start?
You want me to say something? Or?
So I think, when we started looking at the door egress item, it kind of triggered that, some of the windows that were in the built houses and in the construction drawings were different from those that were approved. And as I remember, what we decided was the 2 units that we gave you certificate of occupancy on, we allowed those to go, but any subsequent Type C units needed to conform with the approved windows. So that's what I remember. And it didn't appear on our site visits to look at that door issue that the units had the windows that were approved by the design review board back in 2015 or whenever this was submitted. So that's my understanding of where we are. Does anyone?
Yes. Through the chairman, can I shed some light on that?
Please.
Okay. Can you move this up a little bit, please? Showing the opposite side with the garage. Those were the only two windows that were different. No, yeah, there you go, the bottom one, yeah. Yeah, see, you see that? This window, that's shown to be a tall window, right there. That tall window, there's the kitchen countertop is there. That tall window cannot be there. So it's going to cut into the countertops. That's why we made that a little smaller. And then this window here is in the bathroom. So that bathroom window is too tall. The privacy is just compromised. So we ended up with a little bit smaller window. Those were the only changes.
So
but the windows are still there. They're just a little bit smaller.
right. But again, I think the expectation, Farouk, on this project and everyone is what we see in the drawing is what we approve. And again, I don't doubt you that issues come up, you know, you move a fixture or something and you may need to change a window, but that does require this board's approval on any change.
Well, I am coming to you now with this plan. So to approve it, so all units look alike. So this is what we built it by. So, you know, other than the door we discussed on the other side, everything else, you know, if you can approve this plan to be the plan for the type C, then we're all good to go, other than that door. So.
But this isn't what is there, right? That, as you said, that window is smaller on this left side elevation. Both the two windows, one on the second floor and one on the first floor, smaller than what this drawing shows, right?
Yes, it's the bathroom window is a little bit smaller, and no, I think let me just see. Can you go up a little bit? Is there another plan? I didn't see it. The bathroom window is no, I think it's not shown on here. The bathroom window the garage window is a tall window. I mean, I gotta actually show you a picture of it. And when we added this door, the garage window is tall. That's fine. The only window we made it smaller was the bathroom window. That's it.
But you pointed to two windows, but you're saying only one window changed?
Yes, one window changed, the other one is the same side. But when you look at it from the outside, one looks taller than the other one.
Right.
Right.
So again, when we approve any elevation or architectural drawing, we're looking for balance and consistency and everything else, and that's what we vote on. And so when one changes, you know, now it's under scrutiny.
Right.
So what's helpful is if you wanted to propose a change, if you had the approved drawing and then submitted a revised drawing, or approved and then the new proposed, so we could get a better idea of what you're changing and how it affects the look of the house on the outside. So I guess what we're asking for is if you made a change, you've got to give us another elevation, just like we're talking about on the doors on the other side of this house for the patio. Here's what we approved. Here's what I'd like to change it to. That way we get a clearer picture and it's easier for us to make a quicker decision so you can make the changes you want to make.
All right, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and resubmit the same exact plan that you're looking at, but with the window that got used so that you can see what's there. And once you approve it, all the C types will be the same.
So what you're saying is, so these units are pretty much, you know, framed out and built and they're weather tight, correct?
Right.
So you have those built with the smaller windows already in place?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Michael, 1 second. Farouk, what does the design review board approved plans mean to you? I mean, you believe that these are what you're supposed to build, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so then why do you build something else and then ask later for permission after it's built? How can we trust that that won't continue elsewhere in the development? Things have to be proactive, not asking for permission after you've done it.
Okay. The reason for the changes in the windows from the approved plan to this is at the time when DRB approved the plans, they approved the exterior of it. The interior was not done.
Exactly. I guess you don't understand what I'm saying. You need to, when you know that a change needs to be made because of something in the interior, you need to come to the design review board first, not just go ahead and build it and wait for us to see, oh, this isn't what we approved. You need to actually respect the board and follow the procedure. If you have changes that you want to make interior that affect the exterior, you need to come to the board before you build it. This shouldn't be that hard. Instead of defending your actions, you need to understand what to do going forward.
Yes, I will be submitting a plan with those changes, so everything is in front of the board.
And again, as we said last time, at some point, you know, when you're looking for your certificate of occupancy, you know, Jim's going to go out there, and if they don't match up to what's approved, then you're not going to get approval. Correct?
That's fine. I mean, if you look at the side of the window count and everything is all the same. So, all right, I'll resubmit the plan.
Okay, so you're going to come back with something on these Type C units.
Yeah, I'm going to come back to it very, very quickly because we already got 3 units up. I want to make sure you guys are on board with everything.
Yeah. So again, you know, this plan was approved because of the layout of the windows, the symmetry, all those aspects led to the approval of this plan. So that's the same bar we're going to judge your proposed window changes on. Okay.
Okay. You'll see
Anybody
that
have any other-
I submit will be very similar to this, but I'll have the actual sizes of the window shown.
Okay, does anybody else on the board have any comments about this or whatever, or advice to Farouk on when he returns with revised drawings? Hazel, you're muted, Hazel. I can't hear you, Hazel, sorry.
Okay, all
There you
right.
are.
I would just like to make the point that we approved the 1 unit that was up, which I think is number 19, which did have smaller windows, on the understanding that the rest of the windows were supposed to be exactly as the plans had been submitted. Farouk went ahead and decided on his own to change all the windows as he wished to do it. And I'm very concerned about this. I think that it changes the whole side of that left side of the building because of the change in the windows. And I think that it's important for us to look at the fact that those could be full-size windows. If he was the one that decided to change the interior of the building,
All right, and then, so that's number 5 on our list, and number 6 is a lot release. Is that,
That's the planning board. You don't need to do
Okay.
anything there.
okay. So, so I guess that rounds out what we're here to talk about today. Farouk, do you have any questions about what you need to come back to us with? I know-
No, I think it's very clear to me, and I'm going to try to make an effort to try to get as many things as possible quicker, so it doesn't stop my progress, you know?
Okay, no, we can appreciate the fact you want to get going, but we need a complete sets of plans so we can give you complete approvals and you can continue with complete confidence that everything's right.
Okay,
Just to reinforce one point where we left off on the summer house, please make sure that you submit complete specifications on the materials based on the new set of plans that you're submitting to the building commissioner, and make sure that those plans are the same design as the originally approved plans from 2015, and make sure also that it shows the surrounding landscaping.
the surrounding landscaping is for the unit next door.
But there is a patio, so you need specifications for the patio outside the summer house. I think there's a light there also that's shown on the overall plan that we looked at earlier. Make sure that's shown. And any plantings associated with just with the clubhouse. So if there are no plantings, then we won't see plantings, but we do need to see the patio materials, and the lighting specifications.
Okay. All right,
Okay.
usually, yeah, okay, all right, I think it's all specified in the plan about the patio materials. It's all there. We've already bought a ton of them, same exact specs, so I'll show that patio.
As long as it matches the approval, you're all set. If it doesn't, Farouk, again, we're right back to where we started. You need to get approval of the new
No,
materials.
they do match, it's identical, but it's hard to put it on a building plan. Building plan is usually just the building itself, the roof, the 3 elevations, you know? It's hard to show a patio on that, but you know, building plans is what I was going to resubmit with the summer house showing the bathroom. The planning board asked me to do, but wasn't going to include any patio in that plan. But that plan is, I already have the plan with the patio that I need to build, so I'm going to build exactly that.
So please submit those plans to the design review board.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess we're good, and we're gonna close out this hearing on 1 Gleason Road.
Okay.
Okay? All right, Farouk, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, have a good weekend.
We finished it in time for this one, huh?
Yeah.
Right, right. So do we-
One thing before you're finished, if we could vote for one signatory on the approved minutes. So that way each board member doesn't have to sign our approved minutes. Once we vote that they're approved, I can forward them to one person that's designated. And then they just sign it and I can submit it to the clerk. I think that'd be a lot easier than trying to pass it through 5 people's hands.
That seems reasonable.
So if somebody could make a motion to do that, I would appreciate it.
So it needs to be one person consistently. So for example, if you had, let's say, Dan be responsible to sign the minutes, you have to name him in the motion, or Michael, or whoever, it doesn't matter who, it just needs to be the same person each time.
All right, so Mike, if you want to make the motion, I can be that person. That's fine with
Awesome.
me.
Excellent, Dan. I make a motion that we appoint Dan Martin, the signer of the minutes that we approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a vote. All in favor? Cindy?
Aye.
Dan?
All right,
And I say aye as well. Excellent, thank you.
so we're all going to get the minutes, we're all going to review them, and then I'm going to sign them, but I'll have to know that everybody's reviewed them, correct?
Yeah, so I guess we'll just respond that we approve to everybody that we approve the minutes, and then you'll know that that we looked at it and you'll be able to check our list, check our names, and then sign off. That
Okay.
sound
So
right?
for this one, it's only going to be us three, correct? Or it's going to be everybody?
No, well, how does that go, Jim? Because Hazel was here for part of the meeting. Normally, I would send, whether you attended or not, I would send the minutes to everyone. But as far as, like, if you weren't there for the whole meeting, obviously you can't provide changes to, right, Jim? Like,
Yeah, so that's a good question. If you're at a meeting, you can obviously do all of that. You can propose edits and you can approve the minutes. If you're not at a meeting, you shouldn't propose edits, but you still can vote to approve them. Because as long as they're a true copy of the proceedings, you're a member of the board, you can approve the minutes. You can abstain if you want to, but you can act if you want to.
so Dan, during our meetings, we usually approve the minutes that you've all looked at from the previous meeting. And then once I get that approval, then I would email them to you to sign. So
Okay.
that's the normal process. And then once they're signed, I keep a copy in our files and then I give one to the town clerk.
Yes.
Okay.
And Dan, even if you weren't present at the meeting and you chose to abstain from voting on them, you're still the assigned signatory. So as long as the majority of the board voted to approve those minutes, you're authorized to sign.
All right. So it'll just be email approval and I will do the actual signature, scan it and send it to you.
Yes.
Sounds great.
Awesome. Good. I make a motion, we adjourn. Unless, Jim, is there more business do we need to think about, or?
No, you mean you haven't had enough? It's 11:12.
I can go all day.
Almost a 3-hour meeting.
Do we have a second?
I second that.
Okay.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. You guys
Thank
all have a
you.
great weekend.
Thank you for your patience.
Thank you.
Much
All right.
appreciated.